Continuing the story, the primary tool for the conscientization or the thought reform process that we just discussed is a program generally known as social emotional learning. Now, I've mentioned lots of things, culturally relevant teaching and so on, that are also part and parcel with this, but social emotional learning is the primary vehicle, and as you will come to understand, it is in fact being infused into literally everything. It will not merely be in the schools, it's meant to be everywhere, in everything. So by learning what social emotional learning is and who's pushing it, what huge entities are pushing it, we can learn that social emotional learning isn't just a vehicle for conscientization in some small scale way. It is in fact the key operating tool to achieve an agenda to install a completely new system in the world from top down, bottom up, and inside out all at once. Certain entities are pushing this agenda. The World Economic Forum and the United Nations are two that are really worth mentioning as far as, foundation type things go. And they have figured out that to attempt a full-blown revolution throughout the West, or in accordance with the whole world, it will require simultaneously building the new world in an economic and social model while raising the generation to fill it. That has to occur at the same time. And so then you unleash the new generation into the new world and everything transitions, say through a great reset, seamlessly. The implementation of this two-pronged agenda then, one from the top down, one from the bottom up, is the outstanding fact of the past 30 years of our lives that we've only become really aware of in maybe the last 2 years. And so, by the way, that is a message of hope. This is a 50+ year plan, 30 years kind of in direct implementation, and in 2 years we've already made it seemingly very untenable. A very large number of people are aware of it. A very large number of people are aware that it's not just something that's happening. We're just going to go along with this. And this is the big point. You don't have to just go along with this. You do not have to go along with the indoctrination or programming of your children. You do not have to go along with the data mining of your children so that they can build out a social credit world. You don't have to go along with a social emotional learning program that hijacks and steals away from them genuine education and replaces it with something where they're educating them or training them in social and emotional literacy and so-called emotional IQ, which we now have good reasons to believe doesn't even exist and probably has more to do with your linguistic capacity around emotional words, that you can understand the fine graded meanings between different emotionally sounding words like anger and rage, as opposed to having some intuitive sense of what your emotions are or some maturity about your emotions. Of course, social emotional learning is sold with a very pleasant kind of bill. It's sold to us under the guise that, well, we're going to teach kids to navigate their social situations in a complex world. We're going to teach them to manage their emotions. We're going to teach them to manage the stresses that come with their academic experience, with their life experience. We're going to teach them to manage their interactions with one another so that they grow up more mature, more accepting, more inclusive, more blah, 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 blah. And of course, if it were only that, we might have reason to raise an eyebrow and say, okay, maybe that's not your job. But it's not only that. So we have reasons to scream, you have to stop or we're going to put you in prison. They are trying to fundamentally change the organization and operating principles of society. They are not merely modernizing to digital technology. The digital technology is the means, not the end. The end is the radical transformation of society to a new circular economy that your children will be conscientized not to know how to live outside of.